If you're online looking for a home and scrolling through, oh, that's a nice home, that's a nice home, but you can't even afford it or don't know if you can afford it, well, stop looking right now. You could be losing a lot of money, because buying a home and how much you can afford is much more than just about your income and credit score. So we're going to get through this today. Don't miss out on your dream home, or worse, buy a home and then you're house poor. All right, that's the plan. No house poor, no money down the drain for you. So I'll show you how to avoid the biggest mistakes you can make, find out if it's the right time for you to buy a home, and how much you can really afford. You want to stay to the end. I'm going to do a whole work it out for people who really want to do this. This is not a 5-second conversation. It's comprehensive, right? You want to open doors that you might not have thought possible. So let's get to it. First thing, you got to know that all lenders are not the same. And most home buyers don't think that. All lenders are not created equal. Now, why am I saying that? Well, did you know there are literally hundreds of different loan programs out there, each with different requirements, interest rates, down payment options, income limits, and benefits. Especially true for first-time home buyers. Many of my clients are shocked when they learn about down payment assistance programs that cover 100% of your down payment, and in some cases your closing costs as well. And then there's the grants that give you free money, yes, free money that you don't have to pay back towards your home purchase. And there's also special loan programs for teachers and healthcare workers and veterans and rural home buyers and nurses, there's doctors, and many other groups. Next, there's options that allow you to buy with lower credit scores than you might expect. But here's where it kind of gets tricky. Not all lenders offer all the same programs. Some lenders only work with a handful of loan types. Others might know about certain programs, but they don't mention them to you because they're more work for them, or because they don't make as much money off of them. They only push programs where they make more money. Gotta watch out for that. So what you need is a lender who's honest, proactive, and keeping in touch with you throughout the process. They usually have a whole team that stays in touch with you. They're actually the thinker, and then like myself, I'm the thinker, and I have an operations team. You have to find a lender who's willing to help you improve your credit score, because even the small improvement can save you thousands. Also, a lender who's knowledgeable about all the home programs you might qualify for, right? And also they need to be responsive and available to answer your questions, really important, as well as experience with creative financial solutions. Let me give you an example. I had clients, John and Susie, they were told by their bank they can only afford a $250,000 home. It was a credit union. Credit unions aren't as that creative. So when I connected them with one of my trusted lenders, Crista Lowrie, they discovered they qualified for a first-time home buyer grant and a special professional program. Maria was a nurse. And the result, they were able to purchase a $325,000 home with lower monthly payments than their bank had offered. That's a $75,000 difference in purchasing power and a whole different style home, just with working with the right lender. And that's why the first step is so crucial to answering the how much can I afford question. That's what we're doing here, right? Okay, got that out of my chest. Now it's how to understand your true budget. Okay, that's what I want to talk about next, number 2. Understanding your true budget. Because knowing what you can comfortably afford is about more than just your pre-approval amount, okay? Now, I've created this comprehensive budget worksheet. Here it is. Check this out. It has helped hundreds of my clients get clarity on their finances. This is a screenshot of the full breakdown, and if you wait to the end of the video, this is what I'm going to be showing you. This whole clip, it's about 4 minutes long, a full example of exactly what you need to do with this budget worksheet and all the numbers that are involved in creating what you can afford. And if you comment below with your contact information, we can work together. I can work up a video just for your situation. So make sure you wait to the end. So as you can see by this screenshot of my budget worksheet, it helps you keep track. So 1, you have your monthly income from all sources, gross and net. You have every expense category, all the things that you spend money on, include ones people often forget. Yes, you'll be tracking all of that. If you really want to buy a home, it's very important to do this step. Just go through the step. My buyers love this. They thank me for it later. It also talks about how much money you need to save and how many months until you want to purchase a home tells you how much you need to save every month based on how many, when you want to buy a home. And I'll show you savings opportunities you might be missing, things like that. When lenders calculate, primarily they look at your debt to income ratio, they call it DTI. Most conventional loans require your housing costs plus other debt payments to be less than 43% of your gross monthly income. Now, if you have good credit, they'll go up to 45 or 50% in some cases. But just because you can spend that much doesn't mean you should, all right? Because our worksheet will help you understand what monthly payment would actually be comfortable based upon all the other things you want to keep spending and not be house poor. Your unique situation, your financial goals. We have to talk about that. It's important that you talk about those things. So talking about numbers, what affects your mortgage amount and how much you're going to pay is your credit score is really the number one thing, because even a 20-point improvement can lower your interest rate significantly. Quarter-point interest rate drop on a $300,000 loan can save you about $50 a month. That's $18,000 over a 30-year loan. So what else affects your loan? Well, your down payment does. While many programs allow payments as low as 3% down or 0 down, or putting more down can lower your monthly payment and help you avoid the private mortgage insurance. They call that PMI. And then we have closing costs. I'm going to show you an example of closing costs right now, which typically run between 2 and 5% of your loan amount. As you can see here, there's all kinds of fees, appraisal fees and title insurance and lender fees and all kinds of fees. So if you're buying a house, say this particular example is $477,000 with a $7,000 seller credit, the cost will be somewhere between $14,000 and $17,000, depends upon what? If you're buying your rates down. This particular people bought their rate down and spent a lot of money, like $9,400. They plan on staying in this house forever. Okay, and their payment is on here as well. So this is like a list of all the costs, transfer tax and inspections if you do them, your appraisal fee, all those things are on here. And I can work one of these up for you as well if you let me know if you need help there. And then there's monthly payment components. Your payment isn't just principal and interest, it also includes your property taxes. In our area here, you can go from one township to another, you don't even know you're there, in a different township, and your taxes can go up 15-20%. It's based on the township. You could have HOA fees, homeowners association fees, and sometimes the mortgage insurance if you don't put the 20% down. Okay, so beyond the homeownership comes with other costs. You gotta put these in, factor them in. They affect your affordability long term. The maintenance. There's maintenance of your home. You need to budget about 1% of your home's value a year, maybe more. You have utilities. Maybe they're higher than what you pay as a renter. You've got possible increases in commuting costs, new furniture or renovation costs. There are other costs, right? So have a realistic budget that accounts for all these other factors is very crucial. And so you can truly understand what you can afford without becoming house poor. Okay, next, the third crucial element in determining what you can truly afford is working with the right real estate consultant, not just a realtor, a real estate consultant. I'm specifically using the term consultant rather than agent because there's a huge difference. Because a real estate consultant doesn't just show you houses and write up contracts. Consultants, someone like myself, brings their entire professional network to you. Now, as a top producing realtor here and filling in the burbs in South Jersey, most of my clients buy or sell a home every 5 or 7 years, or maybe their family member does. So I'm a full-time realtor. I'm involved in transactions like every single day. That means someone like myself or a consultant will know which lenders consistently get deals done, even challenging ones, and which lenders have different programs. And consultants like me have relationships with inspectors who can identify potential costly issues. Also, they work with title companies that keep closing costs reasonable. And also we can recommend contractors or insurance professionals and title people. And we can recommend contractors and insurance agents and title companies and other professionals who provide exceptional service at fair prices. So when you work with a consultant, you're not just getting them, you're getting their entire network that they've built and vetted over years in this business. That's so important to think about, okay? Beyond just looking at houses on your phone, all right? Because beyond the network, as a consultant like myself, we bring a wealth of market knowledge that directly impacts what you can afford. We know neighborhoods. that give you the most value for your money. We can identify areas where property values are rising faster than average. We understand which home features add the most value in our market. We can identify fixer-uppers that you shouldn't buy. We call those money pits. We can spot potential issues that might lead to costly repairs down the road. All these things, because as a guide by your side throughout the process, we help you avoid the common pitfalls that can derail your home buying journey, right? Or lead you to buyer's remorse. We don't want you to have buyer's remorse, at least not on my watch. There's no way. Because my job isn't just to help you buy any home, it's to help you find the right home at the right price with the right financing. Because what happens? You're happy, you're excited, and then you introduce me to all your friends and family, and that's kind of what happens in my business. All by referral. Please guys, just understand that this expertise translates directly to your bottom line and can significantly affect how much house they can actually afford. Now, number 4, let's address a topic that many home buyers misunderstand is how realtors get paid. There's a common misconception that if you're a buyer, you now have to pay your realtor directly. That's not quite accurate because for most real estate transactions, it typically is working since the law was passed last August 2024. Most transactions, the sellers agreeing to pay some compensation to the buyer's agent besides just paying their listing agent. So the compensation, which we call it now, not commission, is usually built into the sales price of the home. So while technically buyers are paying for it as part of the purchase price, it's not an additional out-of-pocket expense. You're basically mortgaging the costs. What does that mean? It means that having a consultant like myself represent you as a buyer typically doesn't cost you anything additionally out of pocket at closing. Our services are essentially included in the transaction. So given this type of structure, it doesn't make sense to go unrepresented as a buyer. And by working with a consultant, you get some great stuff, right? You get access to properties the moment they hit the market, sometimes even before. I know off-market stuff all the time, my listings, for example. Professional negotiating skills can save you thousands. Someone knows how to write a contract with the right contingencies to protect you, and an expert who can spot potential issues and help you avoid costly mistakes. Because if the market's competitive, and having a well-connected realtor is really, really crucial. And when homes are selling in days or even hours, having someone who can get you in quickly and knows how to craft a winning offer can be the difference between getting the home and then losing it. Even in a buyer's market where there's less competition, having a skilled negotiator on your side can save you far more than you might expect. You know, on purchase price, closing costs, repairs, a ton more. So remember, working with a dedicated buyer's agent, a consultant, doesn't add to your out-of-pocket costs, and it can absolutely affect what you can afford by helping you avoid overpaying and finding the best value for your budget. Very important. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about, that the 5th thing about can affect what you can afford is, I think significantly, is the current market conditions. And that changes every day. So let's break it down. First, seller's market. Like we're experiencing right now, in many areas, there's still more buyers out there than homes on the market. That's technically what a seller's market is. Inventory is very low. Homes often sell, and they happen, above asking price due to bidding wars. And you may need to be prepared to offer more than the listing price. And some of the contingencies that you usually would put in there, like home inspection, appraisal, everything like that, you may be limited to make your offer very competitive. You might need even a larger down payment to stand out from other offers. And a pre-approval you must have, it's absolutely essential. So if you're pre-approved for say $350,000, and it's a hot seller's market, you might actually only be able to effectively shop for homes listed around $325,000 or even less, knowing you may need to go above asking, right? Conversely, if you're in a buyer's market where there are more homes on the market than there are willing buyers to buy, you often have more room to negotiate on price. Sellers will be willing to help you with closing costs. You can typically include more contingencies for your protection, less pressure to make immediate decisions, and you might be able to afford more house than you initially thought. Right now in our local market, it's a seller's market here in Philly and the burbs. Maybe not as much in Philadelphia, but in the suburbs it really is. That means right now, especially in our market, homes like under $500,000 and under, there's just a frenzy when a well-priced and staged home comes on the market. Buyers though, they're pretty smart. If a property is in bad condition, Sellers haven't done any low-cost fix-ups to appeal to the present-day buyers. They're just going to sit and sit. Buyers will not buy them, especially if they're not priced to sell. So buyers are only buying well-priced, well-staged homes. I'll give you an example. So just recently I had buyers that were pre-approved for a $400,000 house, and it's a seller's market. We kept losing out on homes listed at $385,000, $400,000, because their homes, they were selling for $15,000 to $25,000 over asking price. So we had to adjust our strategy. I said, now guys, we have to look for homes $350,000 to $375,000, and in areas maybe they didn't want to move in before, but they really want to buy a home, and they were paying so much taxes, they had great income, they just needed to buy something. Looking at lower priced homes gave them the room to offer above asking while staying within their budget. It worked. They got a great home and they love it, and just heard from the other day. If you understand the current market conditions and how they can affect what you can truly afford, is yet another reason why how much can I afford question isn't a simple calculator question. I think it requires a lot of expertise and current market knowledge. So let's bring it all together. We covered these 5 factors that determine what you can afford, and we're going to bring it together with some specific examples of programs and opportunities that might help you. Because there are the traditional mortgage programs out there that's conventional, 5 to 20% down. I know if you've been losing homes out there, you know that, well, you've been hearing, got to put 20% down. Okay, that's them. Then there's the FHA. You don't see a lot of that in our area, but it's 3.5% down, and seller can pay up to 6% towards your closing costs, as well as a VA. That's 0 down, and seller can also pay up to 6% of the buyer closing costs. And that is a great program for veterans. And then there's some great state and local first-time home buyer programs. Each state has their own. I have my lender, Crista. She can get you with all the grant programs, which they have down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, tax credits, below market rates. And then there's strictly a down payment assistance programs, such as the grants or loans that help you with the down payment and also with the closing costs. Some of the grants, though, they don't need to be repaid. Then they have the forgivable loans, which forgive if you're staying in the home for, say, up to 10 years, things like 10 years. And there's deferred payment loans, no payments until you sell, refinance, or pay off your mortgage. That's a pretty neat program out there. There's also some match saving programs, matching funds for your saved down payment. There's a couple of those. Now, these are all eligible based upon income, location, first-time home buyer status, just so they're designed basically to get buyers into homes with less money down and sometimes even lower interest rates than conventional financing. So that's the true answer. That's how you get the true answer to how much I can afford, not just a calculator. You've got to consider all the factors. Like I talked about, working with a lender who's knowledgeable and has all the program and explore all these different program options. Have a clear understanding of your complete financial picture. Get our budget worksheet. Partnering with the right real estate consultant brings you the expertise and valuable network, and recognize how realtors are getting paid and how that works to your advantage of a professional representation. And lastly, understand current market conditions and how they affect your purchasing power. Really important. So when you bring all these things and all these elements together, you'll discover, not all the time, but most of the time, that you can afford more than you thought. Or you might realize that waiting is better, so you can improve certain aspects of your financial situation. That could significantly increase your purchasing power in the near future. So if you're serious about understanding what you can truly afford and maximizing your home buying potential, here's the steps. You gotta download my comprehensive budget worksheet using the link in the description below. This tool alone is going to give you tremendous clarity about your financial situation. Now, I'm going to be doing a deep dive on this in just a minute, as I promised. Then you want to connect with a trusted lending partner who specializes in working with buyers in your specific situation. Explore all the programs that you might qualify for, not just the standard ones, and then schedule your complimentary consultation with myself or a consultant in your area. Discuss your goals, the current market conditions, things like that. And what they'll do is look at all the areas that you're interested in, and they'll customize a strategy for your home search. Remember though, understanding what you can afford is just the first step in your home buying journey, but it's a crucial one. It's like the foundation. Just get that right team together and all the information you need just to figure out exactly what you need to do to stop renting and paying somebody else's mortgage. Okay, what you've been waiting for is the deep dive on the budget worksheet. I recorded this for you. Check it out. Okay, the moment you've been waiting for, a detailed analysis of numbers you can put into this worksheet. An awesome thing to do, especially when you're thinking of buying a home. So This is the debt to income. I'm going to start over to the right because you want to know what monthly amount you could be approved for. This is a really simple number, and I'm not saying this is what you could be approved for. But for someone who has a yearly income of $80,000, now everything in yellow is things that need to be input, except for maybe this yellow, depends. Okay, so we're going to go to that. So debt to income is your monthly income, and your income ratio, we're using 45%. Depends upon your credit score and a bunch of other things, but if you use that, it could be pretty safe, especially if you have a good credit score. Your debt is the amount of money that you have monthly going out that they use for mortgage purposes, which would be your car loan, student loan, your current mortgage if you have one, and your credit cards. They're the biggest things that they take out, and this is be a debt of $652 in this example. And then this is what at the 45% you could be approved for. Now this is at also a take-home pay of 80%. What if you get 85? Maybe you don't take out that much. Maybe you have a lot of kids, or maybe, I don't know kids, but maybe you have some reason why you don't take out. Maybe you don't take out a lot, but I'm going to use 85 in this example. It doesn't really matter. Whatever it is for you. I'm going to put that in, I guess you could put that in yellow. Let's put that in yellow so we can make sure that you know to input that. So when I do that, you'll have it there for you. Okay, so your take-home pay biweekly, your monthly income, and your available cash after expenses. So at the end, once you put all your numbers in here, car payment, student loan, maybe you have a mortgage, maybe you don't, maybe you're first-time buyers, you have no mortgage, but you do have then is rent, okay? Utilities, phone, apps for phone, maybe like $40 for that, I don't know. Tolls, maybe you don't drive, maybe you do. Nails, hair, if you get your hair done once a month, maybe, or whatever, $30 or something, or $40, I don't know, whatever you're doing. So you put numbers in here, maybe over the course of the year you buy a couple of pairs of shoes, so you want to put like $100 a month. You put everything in here, everything, right? And then you have what's left over. What's left over. What's really important, because you could take that $1,500 for rent and what's left over and afford a house, okay? And that's how it kind of works. So if you need $16,000 to buy, and you have currently, it's in blue here, so why do we have it in blue? Because I need you to put here, are you getting a gift from parents? Maybe getting $5,000 from them, some grant money from the bank, or maybe you have saved $5,000, right? Maybe you're getting a grant, maybe you're not. Depends on that. Put the money in there, and then you have then $10,000 saved, and you want to buy a house in, say, 5 months. I don't know. So you need to save $6,000 over 5 months. So it means you need to save $1,200 a month over these next 5 months, and you still have money left over. Maybe not in this example. I did leave out a couple key things, like maybe lunches and maybe toiletries, like things like that. So I could get, if we really go into like Starbucks, maybe I get gas every month. Maybe these numbers aren't right. Gym, cable, I don't know. But basically, you want to do is take this worksheet, and really the most important exercise of this worksheet is doing this monthly payment. Like how much you really spending every month. I want you to get down maybe another $50 for miscellaneous, things like that. Like what are you actually paying per month out of your pocket? And this way it'll make you be aware of what you're paying, what you're spending every month. Okay, so that's really important as well. So this will show you that you have the money to save. You can do it. Okay, you can do this. You can buy a house. So let's figure out what it is for you and get back to me. Okay, wasn't that great? That was a long little thing, but I think you got what I was saying, what you need to do, right? So if you want to meet with me on Zoom to figure all this out, just click the link below to schedule a consultation. You go on my calendar, download the budget worksheet, contact me with any questions. If you're not in my area, I can help you find a realtor and a good lender. I'm really good at that. So just click on the link there. It's called Agent Finder. I can find you an agent, and then through the agent, I'll find a lender. All right, now you have a much better idea of what you can actually afford, and hopefully some confidence. But another piece of the puzzle you might not be thinking about is inventory. I'm talking about inventory because that's what's low in our neighborhoods, a lack of it, right? And a huge impact on your affordabilities. Low inventory keeps pushing the price up right now. But these boomers are not downsizing like they used to. So check out my other video. Next video is the surprising reason boomers refuse to downsize and what it means to you. Just to understand how this trend is really shaping today's market and how you can use it to your advantage as a buyer. Watch it now.